Okay. We are talking about the remote annotation, right? What did I say you about the remote annotation? Basically, remote annotation, if you just understand, the remote annotation is used for doing a validation on the server side. A validation on the server side, not like a client side, guys. It is going to be a validation that is going to be done on the server side, but not on the client side. Okay. So that's what exactly the remote annotation is all about. It will do a server side validation, but not a client side validation. Are you getting my point? It will do a server side validation, but not a client side validation, basically. How do we do a remote annotation? So last class I said to you, generally tomorrow, if at all you want to use any server side logic to be done at the time we use, and I given you an example also, I want to check with some dates in the database. Not like that, we don't have a database now. So for the time being, what we're doing is we are going to do it like a small validation, a simple validation. What is that? But on the server side, it has to do. What is the validation, you know? Like the user should attain 18 years of age. The user should attain 18 years of age for completing a registration. If the user is going to be not attained 18 years of age, it should throw you an error. We've done this in our web forms also, right? So the same thing. And to do that, I'm going to write one new method. I'm going to write one new method here. What is the method I'm going to write is public a JSON result is valid date. So return type is JSON result is valid date. What am I passing for it? The value entered in the date of birth. The value entered in the date of birth. So it is a which type? Date time type. Date time. And what is the field name? DOB. Date time DOB. Okay. So you're going to enter a value into this. And you remember, I think, how do you verify? Very simple. The value that is entered in the text box should not be greater than 6/19/2007. We learned about it already. It should not be greater than 6/7/2007. Right? 2007, 18 years back. How do you check if DOB is greater than? It is greater than what? Date time dot now dot add years minus 18. Okay, if it is greater than this, if it is going to be greater than this, then what you say, just a minute, bool status. If this is the case, what do you say? Status is equals to false, else status equals to true. So you are trying to assign a value now. What's it? If the date of birth is, if the entered value is greater than that specified date, it is false. No, not greater. Greater than means less than or equal. Then it is a valid value. Return. What should be the return type? JSON. Return JSON. Status. And here I said you allow get. On a get request, this call should be performed. On a get request, this call has to be performed. Okay, fine. Now have a look. This is a new action method I'm writing. And this is a server-side method, right? But I want to call it from the client side without submitting the page to server. The page should not be submitted to the server. Without submitting the page to the server, what should happen? The data should be submitted. Got it or not? Without submitting the page to server, the data should be submitted. So this is what exactly my requirement is all about. Understood or not? So what is that? Without submitting the page to the server, the page should not be submitted to the server. Without submitting the page to the server, the data should be submitted to the server. Okay, this is what. How do you do that? Come on, let us go to our model class. Is the date of birth field. We have an annotation called as remote. Actually, this is not under system.componentModel.data annotations namespace here. This is under system.web.mvc namespace. System.web.mvc namespace. Okay. So generally, when it is in a different namespace, what we do? We import it. We import it, right? So I'm importing now system.web.mvc. I'm importing. When I import, I have a new challenge here. The compare is giving error. See, the remote is giving error because we did not pass all the required information here. All the required information is not passed here. So it is giving the error string route name. String route name. The route, see this one, string action method name. The name of the action method. What is the name of the action method? Is valid date. Second thing, controller name, comma, user. See now, there's no error with remote. Remote is fine. Some error message to be displayed there, na? Error message is equals to you need to attain 18 years to register. You need to attain 18 years to register. I'm adding this. But see, now there's a problem with compare. Wait, sir, what is the problem with compare? The problem with compare is this compare is available under two different namespaces here. It is available under two different namespaces. One, system.componentModel.data annotations. That's a different class. And system.web.mvc. There are two compare classes. In your project, day before yesterday, we had defined multiple home controllers. But how do we differentiate it? Separate namespaces. Here also same thing is happening. What is it? There are two compare classes defined under two different namespaces. One is present under system.web.mvc. Second one is present under system.componentModel.data annotation. Which compare should I use? System.componentModel.data annotation should be used. Are you clear? So we need to prefix the namespace name there. We require to prefix the namespace name. Are you clearer or not? Or otherwise, this is lengthy, na? Yes or not? Then better do this. What is it? Don't import this. If you don't import this, then compare doesn't have any problem. Problem is for prefix it here. This is simple now. What is simple you feel, use that, man. If you want to write there, then import it. Unnecessary, na? One more extra line, one more prefixing. Without that, this is easy. Understood? It is in which namespace? System.web.mvc. Now, observe it. Yeah. What are the last accepted date we discussed? Like 06 19 2007. Suppose if I enter 20 here, see, validation is working, and 19 is okay. But see, the page is not getting submitted, guys. The page is not getting submitted. Without submitting, only this is happening. How? Ajax call. So there's a call which is going to happen in the background. Understood? We will understand about this Ajax in detail in the later sessions. But the point I want to tell is here it executes server-side logic through an Ajax call. It executes server-side logic through an Ajax call, basically. Understood my point? Yes or not? Okay. So that is how exactly the things are going to happen. So basically, this is the way how we are just going to perform this. Okay. So, yeah. So we have done all the annotations here. Only one thing is all the error messages getting displayed beside the text boxes, but we want to display either on the top or bottom, validation summary. Remember, validation summary. We just have a validation summary. The validation summary control is used for displaying all the validation error messages at one place. So if you too want to display all your validation messages at one place, either on the top of the page or bottom of the page somewhere, we can do it. How? I want to display all my error messages on the top. Okay, if that is the case, I'm adding a new div tag and I directly have a validation summary. Just like validation message per, what we have? Validation summary. There is something called as validation summary. Just watch. Summary. And actually, it takes a parameter, guys. Two parameter. What are the parameter? Optional only. Some name. You can give any name. That's not mandatory. That's no, that doesn't make sense also. I don't know why they added that particular thing also. You can give a name for that. And second one is a bootstrap styling class. I'm using HTML attribute and I'm using a bootstrap class there. I'm using a bootstrap class. So run. When you run this, all the error messages gets displayed for you at one place now. All the error messages gets displayed at one place. Did you understand that? But here also coming now. Here also coming. So what you'll do now is, so yesterday we returned this styling for the span tag now, right? Display none. Are you clear? There's a small task for you. I'm not going to show you. I want you to do it. What is that? We got error messages now. So somewhere we got error, we have set display none. Not display none here. Where the error is there, a star should be visible. I have done it in web forms. Are you clear? How do you do that? That's your challenge. Got it? I'm not showing you. So I want you to perform that particular task. Wherever the error is, the star should be shown there. Error messages are shown on the top. That is okay. But here, it has to show you the star. Am I clear? So how you're going to achieve it? I'm just going to leave it to you. Okay. Yeah, guys. So this is what the validation summary. Nothing to explain because we already know about the validation summary there. And you can just display that under the place wherever you want. Okay. I just used a div tag and I'm writing some styling for it. and all the error messages will come now and display under the div tag. They are going to display it under the div tag. Clear? Okay. But to remove the messages, what I done? Display none. This is the old one. This is a new style what I'm writing. Display none. Okay now. Yeah. Now let's just before we start with the database programming, just let us try to understand about the page lifecycle of our MVC. If you remember, I already shown you this picture and said, this is a very simple thing. What is that? We have a request. The request will first take you to routing. Routing will redirect you to an MVC handler. The MVC handler will redirect you to the appropriate controller. The controller will pick up the appropriate action. Now the action method is executed. Once the action is executed, it will send you a result. It gives you a result. Okay. Actually, I copied this one from Microsoft website only. But the thing is, it is showing as a view result now. Or in the result, it would have been better if it is like action result. That can be not only a view result every time. Nah. It can be a partial view result. It can be a JSON result, redirect result. Any result can come. And now the result is processed by the view engine. And view engine will generate a view and sends it as a response. We don't have complexities like how we discussed in our web forms. Web forms architecture is very complex architecture. Web forms architecture is a very complex architecture, but not in the case of your MVC. If at all you just understand the MVC architecture is quite simple and clearer architecture here. Did you guys understand me or not? Okay, so what is that? Request comes to routing. Routing will take us to MVC handler. MVC handler will take us to the controller. Controller will take us to the appropriate action method. Action method returns an action result. Action result is taken by the view engine and generates you a view. Basically, it is talking only about a view here, not about other results. That is what it has taken is view result. Because 99% of our action methods returns views only. 99% of our action methods returns only views. Did you understand? Come again. First step, request. Request goes to routing. Routing to MVC handler. The MVC handler will check now which controller has to be invoked. From there, it will go to the appropriate controller. From MVC handler, it goes to the appropriate controller. In the controller, we have a lot of action methods. There it goes to the appropriate action method. Now, action method executes and gives you a view result. It gives you a view result. The view result is processed by view engine. View result is what we send. That is processed by view engine. Generates a view which is sent as a response. Understood or not? This is a quite simple and easy process. There is nothing complicated here to understand. So this is the ASP.NET MVC request lifecycle. And here given the explanation about all, you know what is routing. What is the MVC handler? See, the MVC handler is responsible for initiating the real processing inside ASP.NET MVC. MVC handler implements HTTP handler interface and further process the request by using process request method. There is a method called process request here. Understand the meaning of process request. Simple English, process the request now. And what will it do? It will send you to the controller. And once it sends you to the controller, then the action execution will take place. I said you that only action result will be an appropriate word because it can be view, redirect, partial view, different options are there. Then it goes to the view engine, and you already learned about web form engine, Razor engine, and all these things. Default engine is a web form engine, and from there it goes to, from there it is just going to the Razor engine, as we discussed about it already. So first reference to web form engine, second to Razor engine. If you don't want web form engine, I already explained you. You can remove the web forms engine from the list and only Razor engine will be in the action. And then finally what is generated? The view is generated. Finally, the view will be generated for you. Are you clearer? Yes or not? So in this, every part I explained you in detail. I explained you what is the view. I explained you what is the view engine. I explained about the different action results. We learned about controllers. We learned about routes. Everything I explained for you in detail. If I did not explain anything, that is nothing but an MVC handler. The MVC handler is nothing but the routing will go to the MVC handler. MVC handler will send you to the appropriate controller. MVC handler will send you to the appropriate controller. Say, you came to Naresh Technologies for joining for or attending for a class, and they redirected to a building. In the building, multiple classes are going on. Which class you require to attend? There you have an admin. The admin will redirect you to the appropriate classroom of your choice. Yes or not? Based on your course, he will redirect you to the appropriate class. Did you understand or not? Is going to redirect you to the appropriate class now. So now the admin here is the MVC handler. The admin is the MVC handler. Are you getting my point? Okay, then you'll go to the controller. The controller will direct you to the appropriate action method. The action method is now going to be more clear, not the admin here, I'll tell you like this. MVC handler is not like admin also. The admin is like the controller. The admin is like the controller. Then what is the MVC handler here? You came to the main office. You came to the main office for attending a course. So there you said like what you want. What course you want to attend? You said that you want to attend for ASP.NET, or you want to attend for a core Java class, or you want to attend for an MVC class or a Python class. You said something. Okay, the class, a new batch is going to be started today in some building, and they said you in so and so building. You said I'm new to Hyderabad. I don't know. So at the time, first time, what they do, they will send a office boy or a security guard with you to guide you to the appropriate building. Because the classes here will happen in multiple buildings, not one building. Now, so many buildings are there. So first day you come there, someone, an office boy or in a security guard, say they ask you to, okay, wait, our security guard will come like this. Some 10-15 people came now. For all the 10-15 people, what the security guard is going to do? The security guard is going to take you to the appropriate building. Are you clear? Now understand, the security guard here who is going to take you to the appropriate building is the MVC handler. He is taking to the building. Once you are taken to the building, there you will have a admin. Every building will have a admin. So you will just go and give to the admin now. Okay, the admin. Now the admin is the controller. Now in that building, so many classes are going on. Every class is like an action method now. There are some 20 people came now asking. Some people said we want for Java class. Okay, in the first floor, room number 2. Some people said that we want to attend for MVC. So he said that in the second floor, it is in room number 1. Some people came for attending Java. Second floor, room number 3. Like this is going to send you to the appropriate classroom now. Now the appropriate class is the action. Did you get my point correctly? So that is how the things will happen. If I did not explain you anything earlier, that is only the MVC handler. But I explained about routing. I explained about controllers. I explained about views, view results, as well as the view engine. The view engine. We talked about the view engine in detail, where I showed you 2 engines are there. There's the web form engine and the Razor engine. The default engine is the web form engine, but not the Razor engine. I hope you guys are clear. Understood, all of you? So this is how exactly the things are going to execute for you. And see, guys, differences between ASP.NET Web Forms and Reddit. First of all, let's be clear that ASP.NET MVC is not a replacement for. Put this in the mind. Don't think like MVC is the replacement for a web form. No, yeah, MVC is not a replacement for a web form. MVC is an alternative to web form. Web form is one type of architecture. MVC is industrial, but both are existing. Still, in the companies, we have applications being developed or developed in web forms architecture also. MVC architecture also. Still they use web forms architecture? Yes, not for developing new applications. Not for developing new applications here. See, my company, actually, the client for us is Brother Printers. Brother Printers. The Brother Printers is a very big company which sells printers throughout the world. In India, they are not popular, but in India also we have. You will just find out somewhere like in even in Maitrivanam and all you'll find like Brother Printers hoarding there if you see, but not that popular in India. Okay, so these Brother Printers, they are worldwide: Japan, China, US, Canada. In all these areas, the Brother is very popular. Okay, since past 20 years, the company where I'm working, for them, the major client is Brother. The major client is Brother. Brother has different websites, and these particular websites are so many websites are there. Not only different websites, there are different websites for different countries also now. Canada has a different website. France has a different website. US has a different website. China has a different website. Japan has a different website. Language barrier. Are you clear? So we maintain all the sites. We maintain all the sites since this is happening since past 20 years. So 20 years back, we don't have MVC in the market. MVC came in 2008. Are you clear? So that's why initially all this site development has been done by using web forms. Web forms, you know, what is the language? The language is Visual Basic. The language is Visual Basic. Visual Basic is the language, and these all sites are developed using web forms. Using web forms and Visual Basic, the complete site development has been done. And MVC came immediately. No one shifted up to MVC here. Over a period of time, the change has happened. Over a period of time, the change has been happened. But by the time MVC became popular, all the web form projects became strong now. All the web form projects became strong. Already development is completed. Suddenly, if I tell to the client, "Arey, remove this and I'll build MVC maze," client should be ready for the budget. Because you don't do free, na. They have to pay you. So they should be ready for the budget. So still, there are so many sites, we still maintain them using web forms with VB language. Okay, later on, after 2012 and all, the site development moved to MVC. New sites are all developed using MVC and C#. MVC and C#. After 2020, what happened is the complete site development has been now moved to MVC core. MVC core. I just joined the company in 2021. Earlier I was full-time working here only. But due to throat problems and all, I just want to take a rest. And second half, I don't teach. I said you earlier, I don't teach in the second half. I teach only in the morning. I work. So at that time, mostly what I noticed is in my starting days, all these projects basically developed by using either web forms or MVC. Old applications, web forms, later new applications, MVC. Since my inception in the company, from then onwards, whenever they want to build something new, I strongly recommended, let us not use the old technologies anymore. Let us go to .NET Core. Okay, so basically from then onwards, completely our development is on .NET Core. Now we are going development with .NET Core, MVC architecture. Not only MVC, there are two architectures are there like web forms and MVC. There also we have Razor Pages and MVC. Small size applications we build by using Razor Pages, and large scale applications we build by using MVC. I'll talk about it when we go to MVC. When we go to MVC, I'll explain about that particular thing. So like this, so we have websites in our company which are developed using web forms and web forms with VB language. There are sites which are running on MVC with C# language, and all the new site development is now happening with .NET Core. With .NET Core, some are Razor Pages architecture and some are MVC architecture. Some sites are Razor Pages, some sites are MVC. Like this, it's like a mixture here. It is not like we use only one technology or one way we develop. Everything will be used here. That's what the first point I want to tell you. Don't think like MVC is a replacement here. MVC is not a replacement. MVC is a alternative. So both are available. Both are available to you. Did you understand me or not? Both these development models exist and can be used to develop ASP.NET web applications. So then what are the differences? When should I use what? Will be one of a big doubt in our mind. Okay, let us try to compare them. First one. Did you understand that? Page is its own controller. Every page is its own controller. Did you get my point? But in MVC architecture, every page is not its own controller. We have a common controller with a set of pages. One controller, some 10 to 20 pages in it now. For all the 10, 20 pages, one controller. Are you clear? Suppose we have 100 pages in the site, 100 pages. In web forms architecture, 100 pages are 100 controllers now. But in MVC architecture, 100 pages need not be 100 controllers here. I have only 5 controllers. Every controller, I have 20 action methods like this now. Did you get me? Come to MVC. MVC uses front controller. Means they will put a controller in the front and say all of you come to the controller. Controller will give you the results to you. What we call as a front controller pattern. That approach means a common controller for all pages processing the requests. Did you understand? So this is a page controller. Page controller means every page is a controller. This is a front controller. Means every page is not a controller. We'll put few controllers in the front and ask the request to come there. In one controller, don't write huge number of action methods also. In one controller, 100 action method, that is also not right. That is also not right. So that is also not going to be right way to do the things. Got it or not? So how to do it? How to do that? So better to do like one controller or like multiple controllers, not like one, multiple. Don't take like 100 also, few. I said you remember load balancing? Same thing like this. Second. The lot of server-side interactions and postbacks are performed because all our controls are server-side controls, not client-side controls. But here, very minimum postbacks and interactions. Very minimum number of postbacks and interactions. Next. I explained about this in the routing classes, guys. What is it? The file name will be visible to you in the address bar. File-based URLs, but MVC uses route-based URLs. We can hide the controller name. We can hide the action method name. All these things can be hidden now. Are you clear? What is it called? Route-based URL. Now, come on. MVC has louder here, no energy. Now, no physical paths are used here. No physical paths are used here. Next. It's like a tightly coupled architecture here. It's not like a loosely coupled architecture. Means we write database code in the same thing. We write everything there only. But here what it tells you, presentation logic in one place, business logic in one place, data logic. But in web forms, do you remember we have a page? There only we write business logic. There only we write presentation logic. There only we write database logic also. All in one place. Understood? Next. So basically, tomorrow when you want to go for an automated testing here, automated testing is going to be a bit complicated here because of this tightly coupled behavior. Okay, so to understand this, you need to have some basic knowledge of the testing. So, but testing becomes complicated in web forms architecture. But testing is going to be one of the biggest strength in MVC. Okay, what is this? Testability is a key feature in MVC. Test-driven development is quite simple using this approach. You need to have some knowledge on automated testing to explain about this particular concept. But automated testing becomes easy and simple in MVC compared with the web forms architecture. Next. Basically, if you remember, all the server-side controls uses the view state, control state. All the server-side controls uses the view state. The view state is nothing but the control state, basically. Are you clearer or not? What it uses? The view state, which indicates nothing but the control state, actually. Are you getting my point or not? So what it uses is the control state, basically. So if you just understand about this particular control state now, that will give you an experience of a desktop application, like without losing the values. Because what I said to you guys, in all the web applications, we have this common drawback. What is that? Once page submitted, the values are cleared off. Only ASP.NET Server controls will maintain. And they have done this to give you like a desktop application architecture, like a desktop application architecture, Windows Forms. You learned Windows Forms now? To give you a Windows Forms type of architecture look, they have just designed it like this. But that one I have shown you the drawback also. This view state will be in the background. All these values will go to server, browser. I gone to view page source and shown you already in the database programming classes to you. That is a problem. But MVC, we don't have anything called view state at all first. We don't have anything called as view state at all. The view state is not at all present for you in this architecture. Okay, next. To maintain that view state, you're increasing the size of the page now. You're increasing the size of the page and all this data will be going forward to and fro every time. Browser to server, server to browser will be traveling. On the other side, the output is very clean. If you go to view source of web forms, you find lot of code in it. But if you go to view page source in MVC, you don't find a lot of code. It's clean code, simple code. Why? There will not be anything extra. There will not be anything extra here. Next. Web form syntax on the other side. You remember now, both are supported here. Web forms is also supported. Razor. Razor is the default syntax, but web form engine is the default engine. Okay, next. Remember silver here. On the other side, clean and simple here. Clean and simple, like what we discussed up some few minutes back. What we discussed like few minutes back, this is going to be clean and simple basically. Understood or not? So that is one of the major advantage what you just have. Next. Minimum knowledge of HTML and CSS, because all this is our side coding property window. In the property window, we can set up our properties, and that will only take care of generating you the required CSS code for you. That only will do. But MVC? And you want to do styling, you're required to again say new curly braces, and you're required to give all the attribute names there now. Read only, class, everything. HTML styling should be done by you only. If you want to set a style, style is equals to and right. If at all you want to bind a class is equals to. All the settings should be done by yourself. Next. We don't have much control on these things because everything we do by using the server-side controls. Less we use HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. Next, on the other side, complete manual coding, guys. Complete manual coding only. You only should write all the HTML. You only should write all the JavaScript code, CSS code, or using bootstraps. Everything should be done by you manually. Okay, so they say we have more control on this. Array with a huge set of libraries, this provides you RAD. What is it? Rapid application development. But on the other side, I used this word earlier also, remember? I said you it is like a step back. We are again going to traditional process. We have one mechanism where we introduced something new. After introducing something new, we got like some drawbacks in it. Again, what you will do? You'll say, okay, let us come to old. So here also same thing happened. It's like a step back. Okay. And it will decrease your the productivity. What is it going to decrease your? The productivity will be decreased. Means it doesn't give you like a RAD type of development. No drag and drops. No drag and drops. You only should write all the code manually first. Next. So it is best recommended for small scale applications. Say I want to design a website with 3 pages in it. Want to design a website with 3 pages in it. Don't use MVC at all. Don't use MVC yet. Why? Waste of time. You are one controller, views, action, it's all the waste of time. Man. Simply go with web forms architecture. Enough. I have a website like 100, 200 pages. Then don't use web forms architecture. Use what? MVC architecture. See, it's better as well as recommended approach for large scale applications with the different teams are working together. Okay, so for large scale applications, always MVC recommended. For small scale applications, still the recommendation will be like a web forms. In this web forms is now replaced with .NET Core with a new thing called as Razor pages. Web forms. Online students, please hold. We lost with the power here. Just please hold. Yeah, Surender, there is a lot of difference between Blazor. Blazor is a different architecture again. Online students, am I audible? Okay, just a minute. We lost the power here. Please hold. Yeah, basically where we stopped it, like a small scale applications and large scale application. For small scale applications, it's recommended to go with web forms, and this web forms is now replaced with Razor pages in .NET Core. And for large scale applications, what we have is MVC, and this MVC is now Core MVC. The MVC is now Core MVC. Last difference. The last difference is in web forms here, the response type can only be HTML. The response type can only be HTML. See, response type HTML only. And if you want any other response type, we need to write some complex code. On the other side, array JSON results also we sent. So we can have different type of response types in MVC architecture, but not possible with the web forms architecture. Web forms, you're required to write some complex logics to change the response type, but it is a direct option for you available in the MVC. Okay. And you can just see, guys, this is the page life cycle. We already learned about this particular thing there. The page life cycle, all it happened. See, initialize. I shown you the picture also to you. Loading the view state, pre-render, saving the state, rendering, unloading. And see this here. Once the rendering is completed, response is sent back and unloaded. Response is sent to client and immediately unloaded. And do you remember the isapi.dll, which takes the request? I thought you already the isapi.dll, which is going to take your particular request. Exactly here it is mentioned. See, process the request and on the base of the extension like .aspx, it loads your ASP.NET _ i.dll. Okay. Like this particular concept, I already taught you in detail for you there. The request is taken, then you need a new class. The new class is loaded in the memory. Once the class is loaded in the memory, then starts the page life cycle. See, this is the page life cycle, guys. This one. And all this is before the life cycle. What is before the life cycle? Generating a class, loading the class into memory to start the life cycle. So this is a picture representing web forms. This is a picture MVC. Is it clear, all of you? Okay. So like this, we just have the different two life cycles, what we just okay. Finally, I also tell you the differences between both the two things. See, actually, I did not tell you these things in the starting days. Why? Starting days, you don't know anything about the MVC. I can't tell you about the differences. That's why I thought, okay, this is the right time for you because now you have knowledge on web forms, you have knowledge on MVC. It will be easy for you to differentiate between the two. Okay, and finally, what I said, when to use MVC architecture, large scale applications, and when to use web forms architecture, small scale applications. For small scale applications, it should be a web forms architecture, and for large scale applications, it should be a MVC architecture. I hope you guys are clear. Understood my point? Yes or not? So this is how exactly we are going to perform the things, MVC or the web forms, whatever it is. Okay, fine. Now let's jump into this. Till now, we created so many pages, like a registration page, a login page, add employee, add customer, add student, like there's so many of these things. But frankly speaking, we have not saved this particular information to the database. We have not saved this information to the database. Are you clear? Okay, we have not saved this information to the database. Okay, let us focus on that. How to save this information to the database? How to save this information to the database, basically. So if at all you just wanted to save the information to the database, how do you save this? Actually, to work with the databases, we already know that there's a concept called as ADO.NET. So using ADO.NET, we can just go for writing all the required code for saving the data to database. We have connection classes, command classes, data readers, data sets. Using all these things, we can perform, we can do our CRUD operations. We can do our CRUD operations. But we have a drawback in ADO.NET, guys. A few drawbacks in ADO.NET. What are the drawbacks? Like the drawbacks are, basically when we are using ADO.NET, one of the major challenge with ADO.NET is ADO.NET doesn't provide type safety. ADO.NET doesn't provide you type safety. What I mean, remember in ADO.NET, when I send a request, when I send a select statement to the database, when I send a select statement to the database to execute, the database returns the data in the form of a table structure. And the data written by the database in the form of a table structure will come and will be loaded for you either into a data reader or a data set. Based on your requirement, you can load into data reader or you can load into data set. And you remember, once data loaded in the data reader data set will immediately convert into object. Everything is object only. Suppose you're loading student data, student ID is object, student name is object, Array, class is object, fees is object, student image is object, everything is object only. So we lose type safety. We lose the type safety, which requires extensive boxing and unboxing to be done. I want to assign the value to a text box. I require to convert it into a string. I want to do some arithmetic operation on the fees. I require to convert into double. You're converting object into double, doing a boxing now. Again, you are manipulating and again assigning back. Again, you're assigning back to that position. When you're assigning, you're doing unboxing again now. This involves a lot of boxing and unboxing operations. So what are the challenges here? No type safety. And because the lack of type safety involves a lot of boxing and unboxing. See guys, that's all time consuming. Why? Stack to heap, heap to stack. Promoting them here and there is all going to be time consuming actions now. Is all going to be time consuming. Understood? And the major challenge here is when the data is coming in a data set, how can I bind this to my view now? Why, sir? If you want to bind to a view, you need a model here. What you need? Model. Suppose I want to bind something to a view, student information to a view. I require a student model now. If multiple students are there, list of student. Shown you already. One student means okay. Multiple means list of student. What you need is completely models. But here what you have data sets and data readers. They cannot bound to the view. We cannot bind a data set or a data reader to a view now. So what is the challenge, you know? The challenge is this is your database. From the database, data is loaded into a data set or data reader. Now, again, you require to write all the code for converting this into a list of entity. You're required to write all the code for converting into a list of entity, just a list of entity. What is that? An entity can be a student or a customer or an employee or something now. Entity means replace it with your entity model class now. Entity represents the model. Both are same. When I say entity or model, both are same. So we need to represent that can be a list of student or list of something. And in this conversion, you need to do a lot of unboxing operations now. Sorry, boxing operations and unboxing operations as per the requirements there. Understood? And now this lister entity should be submitted to the database, sorry, to the view. Should be given to the view, which requires a lot of coding. Are you getting my point? And to do all these things, we write some queries now. We write some queries. What queries? SQL queries. And you already learned ADO.NET. Now, when you write SQL queries, guys, how you read SQL queries? C# doesn't understand SQL. So that's why we put all these things in the double quotes. When you write a query, you write a double quote now. Tomorrow you're writing a big query and all these queries will be sent to the database in the runtime. They're processed and finally I want to get the results. I'll get the result. To reduce this complexity, what we discussed, we'll go for stored procedures, write all the queries in the stored procedures. Yes or not? We write the queries in the stored procedures basically. Using stored procedures, we are going to write our queries now. But whenever I need to make any modification, I require to go to the database and modify here. I require to go to the database and modify. Some new column has to be added. I require to modify the database now. But tomorrow in the real time, there's a big challenge here. The database may not be in a direct access to you. The database is in a remote computer. The database is on a remote computer. A direct access is not available for you now. A lot of complexities will come. If I can directly modify in my application, that will be easy, but not in the database. But we can modify in the application. Why? If you want to modify, all the queries should be in the application side now. But if you write in the application, what is the major drawback? C# doesn't understand those queries. So all these queries will be sent to database in runtime. And then if there is any mistake, we get a runtime error, not a compile time error. What you get is a runtime error. We don't get compile time errors. We get runtime errors. Are you clear? All major challenges what we just have here. All the major challenges what we have with ADO.NET. That's way. That is the reason why. That is the reason why. Basically, they introduced us some new architectures for working with the databases other than ADO.NET. ADO.NET is an option. Other than ADO.NET, we have two other options that are available for you to work with. One is LINQ, language integrated query. One is LINQ. What is LINQ? Language integrated query. All of you learned about LINQ in your C# classes already. What is LINQ and how do we use LINQ? Okay. Is there anyone who is not aware of LINQ? Online students or anyone who's not aware of LINQ? Because you learned LINQ already in your C# classes. You know LINQ. So when I explained about LINQ, I thought LINQ to objects, you can write queries on arrays and collections. LINQ to XML, you can write queries on XML data. LINQ to databases, we can write queries on relational databases. But there we learned only LINQ to objects. I did not teach you LINQ to XML and LINQ to databases. I said you will learn about both these two in your ASP.NET classes only. Okay. So they introduced you a concept called as LINQ. Using this LINQ, basically, we can now write our queries or everything directly in the C# in C# syntaxes. So developer finds it easy to write the queries now than using SQL queries. And the major advantage by using this LINQ and NT framework and all these things is when I fetch the data directly comes to me in the form of a collection. The data directly comes to me in the form of a collection. Means if I query on a customer, it will directly return me list of customer here. Did you get my point? So what it will do, it will first define a class. It will first define a class for you with the name called customer. Means model class it will define for you now. Then directly what it returns you? List of customer. I don't require to write any extra coding for conversions. I don't require to write any extra coding for conversions to it, or I don't require to do any what is it, boxing and unboxing operations. I don't require any code now. Are you clear? How shall we start with? First, ADO.NET, one example. We'll see all the complexities and then go to LINQ and understand the simplicity, or first with LINQ. What approach shall we follow? Because in the notes, I given LINQ first and afterwards I given ADO.NET. If you feel like ADO.NET, let us talk about ADO.NET first. We'll start in that particular style. Okay, let us start with ADO.NET only first. So if you start with ADO.NET first, then you will understand the complexity. Then we'll try to minimize the same with LINQ. Are you people clearer? Understood my point here? So we'll start with ADO.NET. But in the notes here, first LINQ is given and afterwards ADO.NET is given. Okay. Well, we'll start with ADO.NET only first, not with LINQ. Yeah, LINQ I given first, but after this, ADO.NET is also available for you in the notes. Just the only thing is wrongly place it, that's all. Yeah. Oh, not this. Okay. ADO.NET. This is ADO.NET approach. So first, let us do with ADO.NET. Okay, I need to change this notes here if at all I want to work with ADO.NET, because these tables and all first I created in LINQ. Afterwards, I came to ADO.NET. That's why they are not existing. Okay, I'll modify the notes and update for you. So first I need to create a database, tables and all. then we need to work with it. So basically, we'll start with ADO.NET only first. Okay, without confusion. And to do that, first, let us design a database. Let's go for designing a database. What I wanted to create a database with the name called as MVCDB with a table called student. Clear? And to perform the CRUD operations on this, like inserting, updating, deleting operations on it, let us go for doing this also. What is it? Procedures. Inserting procedure, updating, selecting. For everything I want to write the procedures. No queries in your application. What is the drawback of queries in your application? If you write any queries in the application, all the queries will be sent to the database in the runtime and parsing will happen. You learned already in the ADO.NET class of C#, remember. So that's a bad way of writing the code. What is the correct way of writing the code? Stored procedures. All the queries should be in the stored procedures now. All the queries should be in the stored procedures. Okay. So what is the first step? Create a database. And I'm not giving an introduction to ADO.NET. Already in the web forms we already used of. There we created one database called ASPDB. But here I want to maintain a separate database with the name called as MVCDB. Yeah, guys, create the database. Right click. New database. What is the name? MVCDB. Okay. Oh. Already it is there, it seems. Okay, let us delete off. Okay, let me rename and leave it. I think it won't accept. Won't accept. Reason is renaming won't accept here. Why renaming won't accept is, you learned in SQL Server, guys, whenever you create a database, it'll create you two files to you, one MDF file and one LDF file. Two files are created for you on your hard disk with the name called as MDF and LDF. You rename a database is renamed, but those files are not renamed. So if I create another database with the same name called MVCDB, then that also will create the files with the same name now. Error is not coming here, error is coming to the file names actually. That's why I said it won't accept. If we rename, we need to rename the files there also. Okay, that's it. I completely deleted. Okay, no issues. So firstly, we created a database called as MVCDB. This MVCDB is the database what we have created, guys. So what I just wanted to do is, I just wanted to create a student table now. I want to create a student table. So open a new query window, MVCDB, and a student table. Okay, guys, just a minute. We have that script code somewhere. Create table student. Yeah, all these are there here, but in MVC I put this, I'll put it over there. I will shift the positions and update the notes. Okay, create table student. So have a look, what are the columns I have used. And you know that every table requires a primary key. I don't require to give any explanation for that. Name, class, face. I want to store the photograph of the student. Okay, basically I'm using a varchar of 100 to store the path of the file. To store the path of the file. Next, remember this now? We should not delete the records. We need to maintain the status. So bit default value 1. By default, every record is active. You can make it inactive. Okay, now fine. Now I want to write procedures now. The first procedure is for selecting the data. Okay. While selecting the data, guys, when I'm selecting the data, I want to have different conditions in my code. What is it? When I want to do a select, one option is select without any conditions. Select without any conditions. Second option is I want to select based on the SID. Array, single record man. Third option is I want to select the data based on the status. Active records, inactive records. Are you clear? I want to select based on, so three things I said you till now. What are the three? All the records. Second option, based on SID. Third option. Fourth option is both SID and status. Both SID and status. I said this already in your C# classes if you recollect this procedure. I want to write a procedure. 4 conditions should be there. Okay. So now I need to create a procedure. Create procedure student underscore. The procedure name is student underscore select. And a few parameters for it. First parameter, SID, integer, is equals to null. What is equal to null? Default value. So that I'm making this as optional. It's not a mandatory parameter now. Second one, bit equals to null. Begin, end. What you'll do? Array. What is the first one you said? All the records. All the records means no SID, no status. No SID, no status. What is that? If @SID is null. Means you did not pass a value for SID now. And @status is null. Indicates what? Both are null. No values are passed now. If no values are passed, what will you get, guys? All the records. All the records. Write a query. Select star from student. Everything will come now. Second condition. We'll write there. Just a minute. What is the second condition? SID is not null and status is null. What will I write? A query with a where clause. What is the where clause? Where SID is equals to @SID. Third scenario. Else if SID is null and status is not null. What do you write? A query with a where clause where status is equals to @status. Both clause. Both are not null. Else if @SID is not null and @status is not null. Actually, else will work here. But why I have written like this is to make you understand the scenarios clearly. Now what you'll write? A select statement with a where clause and 2 conditions. What are the 2 conditions? SID is equals to @SID. Status is equals to @status. Are you clear? So these are the conditions what I just wanted to add in this particular things. So based on that, my queries will change there. That's all. Okay. Yeah. See there. SID is null. Status is null. Look. Did you notice it? Yes or not? So what is that? If SID is null, status is null, you can just observe it. No where clause there. Second one. SID null, status not null. You have where clause, status equals to @status. Third one. SID not null, status null. Where clause, SID is equals to @SID. Fourth one. Both are not null. Then SID is equals to @SID, status equals to @status. Both will be there now. Okay, so let me copy. Execute. My first procedure is done. Second, I want to write a procedure for insert. I want to write a procedure for insert. Guys, when you're inserting, when you're just trying to insert, what are the things you'll insert? ID, name, class, fees, photo. Status has default value. If you don't insert a value to status, it will take the default value now. Okay. And I want a photo to be optional. Means you may pass it, you may not pass it. How do you make optional? Just now I said you equal to null is going to make it optional. See the insert procedure, guys. See the parameters. Photo is null. I'm assigning a null there. I'm assigning a null there. Okay. Next. Array, insert into student. I'm writing an insert statement there now. That's all. Update. When you're updating, remember what you can update. I can update except SID and photo. Remaining 4 can be updated. What? Name can be updated. Class can be updated. Fees can be updated. Photo can be updated. ID cannot be updated. Status cannot be updated. Are you clear? Okay. So you see there. Delete. And when you talk about delete, we don't delete. We only update, remember? For delete, only one parameter. What is it? Clear? So let me first create the insert procedure. Actually, when your procedure has a single line of code, begin and end are optional basically. Begin and end are optional. Like when you write a if condition, when you write a if condition in C#, single line doesn't require curly braces. Not only that, in C# also we have this option, expression bodied members introduced in C#6. What is that? When you have one line of code in the method, we can directly use a lambda expression and write off the logic. Right? Same concept. That's why I did not write begin and end. If you want to add begin and end, add it. No issue. But still it runs. Next. Update procedure. And next, delete procedure. Okay. Everything is ready from the database and now. What? First we created a database. Then we created a table. Then we created 4 procedures to perform the CRUD operations. Database ready. Now we need to design from the application. Now we need to design the application. What you require to do in the application? Listen carefully. In your application, you want to interact with the database. And what you'll get back is a data set. Data sets will not work for you. Data sets cannot be bound to the views. So what you require to do? You require to convert it to list of entity. List of entity. Entity means model. Are you getting me? List of entity. Entity means model. So the first thing what you're required to do in our application is you're required to define a model class. You should define the model class on your own. With what attributes, sir? With what attributes in the table? Same attributes. Are you clear? What attributes you have here? With the same attributes only, we are just going to create these things. Not like that also. To be clear, what attributes are you fetching? Those attributes will be enough. What attributes are you fetching? ID, name, class, piece, photo. Sir, status. Remember here, when I was talking about the status to you in your C# classes or in your web forms classes, every time I used a status, every time I said you, we never directly, means end user don't know anything about the status. Status is only for the developer. Are you getting me? I don't require to represent the status here. But for delete, you need to update the status. No, sir. Why will I update? Procedure is updating. I will send the ID, that's all. Who will update? Procedure. So my application doesn't require to deal with status anywhere directly now. So my model class requires only 5 attributes. What are the 5? SID, name, class, fees, photo. These 5 attributes will be enough. Okay, now. Step 1. What is step 1? define a model class with the required attribute. Step 2, write the connection string in the config file. You know, write the connection string in the web.config file. The connection string should be in the web.config file. Step 3, you're required to write some data logic now. You're required to write some data logic. What data logic? You're required to write the logic for fetching the data from the table. That will come for you as a data set or a data reader. Now the data set or data reader should be converted into a list of student. And now the list of students should be written back. All this is called as data logic. To write the data logic, we will be writing one special class called as DAL class, data access layer. Where you write it? Model. Under models only. Under models only, we write this particular class. What we call it? DAL class, data access layer. Are you getting me or not? A DAL class is what we recommend or what we are just going to write now. In the DAL class, we'll write all the logic. What logic? For converting the data into models. Got it or not? So what we'll do? We have a data set now. We'll pick one by one record from the data set, convert into a student class instance and add it to a list of student now. Got it or not? You have one record here. The record is now converted into a student now. Student instance. You remember? You learned in C# classes. Every record is an instance for us now. See, this concept you learned in C# actually. Every model class, every table will have a corresponding class in the application now. Student table, student class. Yes or not? Every record is an instance now. Every record is an instance. So what should happen now? The records in the table should be converted into instances. 100 records, 100. We will loop it, guys, 100. But we need to store all the instances somewhere now. Where we store? In a list. Where we store? In a list. And all this code will be in the data access layer, DAL class, data access layer. Are you clear? How do we write? In the form of methods. In the form of methods. Now you need to go for a controller. In the controller, call those methods now. In the controller, call the methods. Call those particular methods. I want to display the data. Call the method. The method will return you a list of student. A list of student. Now once you get the list of student, pass it to the view now. In the view, use a for loop and display the data. Did you guys understand me? Yes or not? Come on, repeat. What is the first step? First step is connection string here. First step is connection string. Step 1. Open a new project, MVC project. Go to web.config, write the connection string in the config. Step 2. Define, not create. Define a model class. We use the word create for creating instance, not for class. Classes are not created. Classes are defined. We define a model class. Next, we define a DAL class. We define a DAL class. In the DAL class, we write all the database logic. And those DAL class will contain the methods where you write all the database coding and convert those particular table records into collections now. Into collections. Next, call those methods from your controller. When you call the method, what the method will return? A list. Now I need to pass, I can pass the list directly to it. Okay. Actually, guys, in this process, I first required to tell you how to upload an image. How to upload an image and all these things. Let us do one thing. What is it? For the time being, the process should be like this. First list, show all the records. Afterwards, adding, editing, deleting. But first to show nothing is there now. Until the design is completed, until we start with the end. For the time being, let me insert 3 or 4 dummy records into the table. But before I'm inserting, I will delete off all these things and show you. Initially, to display the data to you, some dummy records let me put in the table now. But we'll delete off all these records. Okay now? So let's put some dummy records into the table. Insert into student values 101, some name, guys, Scott, class, imagine like a 5th class, fees, like some 50,000. Photograph, coming to the photograph, I'm going to take as image1.jpg, okay, comma default. What is the comma default? Actually, in SQL Server, you learned now you want to insert value into specific columns. You're required to specify the column names now, but not specify the column names. So now if I don't write this, mismatch error can come. Array, see there, mismatch now. Why? You did not tell the column names now, but table has 6 columns, but you passed only 5. But what is your intention? Last one is default value for me. I can tell directly like comma means take the default value here. Take the default value over there. See, working. Next, 102. Image 2. One zero three. Image 3. One zero four. Okay, one more record. So finally delete of all the records, eh? Done. Okay. Select star from student. Okay. So these are the records in my table. So initially I want to use this records for display. Before add, I will delete off all the records because the freshly we will add everything from our application side only. From the application side only we'll do it. Clearer? Now we have written 4 procedures now. Using those procedures, you can perform your actions now. I want to perform a select. What can I do? Execute. Status is not coming. Why? We did not fetch. We did not fetch now. And if I say @SID is equals to 103. @status is equals to 1. @status is equal to 0. There are no records inactive. All are active records only. Same way I can write @SID is equals to 101, comma, @status equals to 1. @status equal to 0. Mismatch. Are you clear? 1061 mismatch. The query what we have written here, sorry, procedure what we have written. The procedure we pass the input, it will fetch me the data based on the requirements now. So how many ways can I call it? 4. Option 1. Option 2. Option 3. 1 or 1 for true, 0 for false. Not like 1 or 0. Either 1 or 0. That's my intention. Okay. Option 4 is this. There any SID? There any status? Okay, now 4 different varieties of you can call it. All the conditions I've written in my code. All clear, guys? Are you following my point here? So like this, we are just going to write up all the code now. So what we require to do, we need to create a project now. I'm not writing the code now. I will show you all the things, but come on, let us summarize the steps. Step 1, create a project. Take MVC projects from now onwards, MVC templates. Let's take MVC templates now. Next, step 1, write the connection string in the web.config. Step 2, Define a model class in the models folder representing the entity. Step 3. Define a DAL class in the models folder to implement all the data logic. Step 4. Define a controller. Define a controller containing the action methods to perform the CRUD operations. Okay, now remember, guys, we will be writing 7 action methods now. What are the 7? First one, display all students. What is that? List. Yesterday I thought you remember list. Second, display student. Details here, one student only. 3 and 4, add student get, add student post. 3 and 4 are add student get, add student post. Here, one is to get, one is post. Same way, edit student get, edit student post. 5 and 6, edit student get, edit student post. 7, delete. 7 is delete. You can write delete in single way or 2 ways also. Means only single. A get call deletes. Otherwise, delete student get, delete student post. If you write 2, 8 methods will come. Otherwise, 7 methods will come. Minimum 7 here we will write and do all the CRUD operations. Did you understand the plan? Okay, we'll do it in the tomorrow session, all these things. Let me stop here.